Hey everyone, welcome back to Talking English Podcast. I'm Sophia, this is Alex. Two friends, one mic, zero filter. We talk about life, work, money, AI, all the stuff you actually think about. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Every Tuesday and Friday without fail. Unless I forget to charge my laptop, which has happened.
It has happened. Okay, so today's episode is one I've been wanting to do for a while. We're talking about things we wish we knew at 21.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Right? Like if you could go back and just tap your younger self on the shoulder, what would you actually say? Alex, I'm starting with you. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Okay, genuinely. First thing, I wish someone had told me that being busy is not the same thing as being productive. Because at 21, I was absolutely manic. Running around, always something on, always somewhere to be.
You were busy.
Spectacularly busy. And I had almost nothing to show for it. Like, I look back and I think, what was I actually doing?
The performance of being busy.
That's exactly it. It's a performance. And no one told me. Everyone around me was doing the same thing, so it just seemed normal.
I think that's so real. And I think it's especially bad at that age because you're also comparing yourself to everyone else who looks equally busy, and you assume they're getting somewhere.
Right? You think everyone else has a plan, and you're the only one winging it.
Okay, here's mine. At 21, I wish I had understood the difference between being liked and being respected.
Oh, that's good.
Because I spent so much energy trying to make people comfortable. Like I would soften everything I said. I would over-explain. I would apologize before I even made a point.
You? Apologizing before making a point? I cannot picture that.
I know, right? It's wild. But genuinely, at 21, I was so afraid of being seen as too much or too intense that I made myself smaller constantly.
And what changed?
Honestly, I started noticing that the people I actually respected never did that. They weren't rude, but they weren't performing smallness either. And I thought, oh, I've been optimizing for the wrong thing.
That's a proper reframe. Because at 21, I think I confused being liked with being valued too. Like, I wanted everyone in the room to think I was a good laugh.
Were you?
Sometimes. But I was also exhausting. I reckon I was quite a lot to deal with at 21, to be fair.
I have no comment.
That is a comment, Sophia.
Moving on, what else have you got?
Okay, no, but listen. Money. I wish someone had sat me down and had a real conversation about money. Not like boring, safer retirement stuff, but actually how money works.
Oh my God, yes.
Because I had a job at 21, I was earning actual money, and I just spent it. All of it. Every month. Gone.
On what?
Nights out. Clothes I didn't need. Takeaways. I think I spent a genuinely mental amount of money on food delivery.
So basically you paid for convenience and regret.
Premium convenience and deep, deep regret. And nobody ever explained compound interest to me in a way that felt real. Like, someone should have just shown me a graph.
The graph would have changed everything. Because it's abstract until you see it visually, and then it's like, oh wait, time is literally the asset here.
Exactly. And I didn't have time. I had nights out.
Okay, but to be fair, and I say this as someone who also did not have her financial life together at 21, I think part of it is also that nobody teaches this stuff.
Nobody. We had school, we had A-levels, and not once did anyone explain what a pension was. Not once.
Same. I took calculus. I did not learn how to do my taxes.
Tremendously useful calculus. Really served me well.
I'm sure it's come up loads.
Constantly. Every day.
Okay, so we've got busy versus productive, liked versus respected, and money literacy. Are those your top 3, or is there something that beats all of those?
There's one more. And I feel a bit weird saying it because it sounds like something on a motivational poster. But your friendships matter more than your network.
Say more.
At 21, I was obsessed with networking. Like, I would go to these industry events, collect business cards. Do people still do that?
Some people. It's a bit retro.
Very retro. And I was working so hard on this kind of curated circle of professional contacts. And I neglected actual mates. And then I had a pretty rough year when I was like 24, 25.
Yeah.
And the people who showed up weren't the network. It was just the actual friends. The ones I'd known for years.
That's really honest.
Yeah, well, I'm an open book today, apparently.
I appreciate it. And I think that connects to something I want to get into, because I think there's a version of that in the other direction too.
What do you mean?
Okay, so at 21, I think I also had this belief that I needed to figure everything out alone. Like, asking for help felt like admitting weakness. And I was very, very bad at letting people in.
Are you having me on? You seem like the most together person I know.
Thank you, that's the performance working. No, genuinely. I grew up thinking self-sufficiency was the highest virtue. Like, don't be a burden, figure it out yourself.
Where does that come from, do you think?
Probably a mix of things. Some of it's cultural, some of it's family stuff. But at 21, I literally didn't ask for help even when I was drowning. And I was so proud of that. I thought it meant I was strong.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't strength, it was just loneliness with better PR.
Wow. That's actually a bit devastating.
Right? I thought about it for a while. But I think learning to actually receive help, to let someone hold something with you, that was a huge shift for me. And it happened way later than it should have.
I think for blokes especially, that's massive. Because there's so much stuff about not showing weakness and not asking for help and just getting on with it.
And it's so damaging. Because then you get to 30 and you've been doing this alone for a decade and you're exhausted and you don't even know why.
Yeah, I mean, I was, to be fair, a textbook case of that for a few years. I just kind of pushed through everything and told no one.
Does the mini help? Emotionally?
Does the Mini? Okay, yes, actually. The Mini is my emotional support vehicle.
There it is.
When I need to think, I just drive around in the Mini with something on the radio, and that's my version of processing feelings.
That's the most British coping mechanism I've ever heard.
It works though. I'm a big believer in it.
Diego sits on my laptop when I'm stressed. Same energy.
Is he doing that right now?
He was earlier. He has opinions about this episode, apparently.
Good opinions, I hope.
Jury's out. Okay. I want to shift gears slightly because I think there's a deeper thing underneath all of this that we haven't named yet.
Go on.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think the real thing I wish I'd known at 21 is that identity is not fixed. Like, the version of me at 21 thought she was basically done. Like, this is who I am, these are my opinions, this is what I like.
Oh, that's so real. There's this weird certainty about yourself when you're that age.
It's almost arrogant in a way. And I don't mean that harshly. It's developmentally normal. But I had these very rigid ideas about who I was and what I stood for and what kind of person I wanted to be with.
And you were wrong?
I was so wrong about some of it. Like, the type of person I thought I needed to date at 21 versus the kind of relationship I actually want now, completely different.
Is this where the crypto guy comes in?
We do not talk about the crypto guy.
We never get details on the crypto guy.
And we never will.
Fair enough.
But the point is, I had so many fixed ideas about myself that actually limited me. And the most growth I've ever done happened when I was willing to say, maybe I was wrong about that. Or maybe I've changed.
I think there's something quite scary about that though, right? Because if your identity isn't fixed, then who are you? Like, that can feel destabilizing.
Yes, and I think that's exactly why people resist it. Because having a fixed identity feels safe, even if it's a version of you that's too small for who you're becoming. What?
I'm just thinking about the version of me at 21 and whether I'd even recognize myself. And honestly, I don't think I like him that much.
That's not a bad thing. That means you've grown.
Yeah, but it's a bit mental, isn't it? You walk around for years thinking you're the protagonist and you've got it more or less figured out. And then you look back and think, mate, you were clueless.
The protagonist thing is so real. I think at 21, I had this unconscious sense that the story was happening around me, and I was at the center of it. And then at some point you realize everyone feels that way, and the world is actually just a lot of protagonists bumping into each other.
That is an incredible way to put that. That's actually a bit profound.
I have my moments.
You do. Right, okay, final boss take then. I can see it in your eyes.
Final boss take. Here it is. I think the thing that underlies everything we've talked about today, the busyness, the people-pleasing, the money stuff, the independence, is that at 21, most of us are living by a script we didn't write.
Say that again.
We inherited a set of rules about what success looks like, what a good life looks like, who we're supposed to be by certain ages. And we didn't question any of it. We just ran the program.
And the program was someone else's.
Exactly. And I think the work of your 20s, and honestly, a lot of your 30s too, is just figuring out which parts of that script are actually yours versus what you absorbed from your parents, your culture, social media, whatever.
That's a bit uncomfortable to sit with because it means a lot of what you've been working toward might not even be what you actually want.
Which is terrifying, but also kind of freeing because you can rewrite it.
I had a version of this. I spent like 3 years trying to get into a certain type of job because it was the right move. And everyone around me was doing it, and I hated it every single day. And I thought that was just what work felt like.
You thought work was just supposed to feel terrible?
I thought that was the deal. Like, that's what adults do. They're a bit miserable at work, and then they recover on the weekend.
Oh my God, that is such a common belief, and it's so sad.
It is sad. And nobody told me it wasn't true. Or maybe people did and I wasn't listening. I reckon my mum probably said something and I ignored it.
Classic.
In my defense, I was 21.
That's a defense I'll accept.
Can I add one more thing though, before we wrap up?
Go for it.
I think the thing I most wish I'd known, and this is going to sound soft, but I mean it, is that it's okay to not know yet. Like, not knowing what you want, not knowing who you are, not knowing where you're going. Because at 21, I was so anxious about not having a plan. And I thought everyone around me had one and I was behind. And I wasted so much energy on that anxiety.
The comparison thing is brutal at that age.
Brutal. And social media makes it 10 times worse now because you can see everyone's highlight reel all day, every day.
I think you're right. And I think that connects back to the script thing. Because a big part of why we feel behind is because we're measuring ourselves against a timeline someone else invented.
Exactly. Like, Who decided you have to have your life together by 25? Who made that rule?
Nobody with our best interests at heart, that's for sure.
Not a single one of them.
And I think there's something genuinely kind in telling your 21-year-old self, you don't have to have it figured out yet. You're allowed to be in process. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to start over.
Yeah. I think if I could say one thing to 21-year-old me, it'd be, stop performing and start paying attention.
That's a good one.
I have my moments too.
Look at us, profound on a Tuesday.
Or Friday, depending on when you're listening.
Okay, real talk. I love this episode. I think this one hit differently.
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those topics where you start with the surface stuff, and then suddenly you're saying things you didn't quite know you thought.
Exactly, which is kind of the point.
Deep chat, emotional growth, classic Tuesday.
All right, wrapping up. If there's one thing I'd take away from today, it's this. Your 20s aren't a deadline. They're a draft. And the best thing you can do is stay curious about who you're becoming instead of anxious about who you haven't been yet.
That's the one. That's it.
Okay, and speaking of things that feel inescapable, next episode we are talking about why everything is a subscription now. Your streaming, your software, your gym, your razor blades, literally everything wants $12.99 a month from you. And we have thoughts.
So many thoughts. I have feelings about this. Strong feelings.
We know you do. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it, or who is also kind of a mess at 21.
Which is everyone. Genuinely everyone.
We'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves.
Cheers, everyone.